Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So Manchester United drew 1-1 with Liverpool yesterday at Old Trafford. It wasn't a great game, to be quite honest with you. Not a lot of chances in the game. But I actually am very satisfied with the result. I am disappointed, that we didn't hand onto the lead. But before the game started, I would have taken a point. We are the first team this season, to take a point from Liverpool. We are currently, still in a bad position at the moment, but we are still early on in the season, and there's still plenty of time to turn it around. So we are now 13th in the league, and we are just sitting 2 points above relegation, and we have registered 10 points from a possible 27. I've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. I thought he tactically, got it spot on. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, probably still does need time at the football club, and maybe his managerial tenure, could work out. If if a few different elements, do come together, because obviously, reports were emerging out before the game, that he could have been sacked, if we'd have suffered a heavy defeat. But we all went into the game, we did expect to lose, but like I mentioned, it wasn't the best of games. There was a few talking points in the game as well. Obviously, Rashford's controversial goal, I think after 35 minutes. Obviously, a lot of people are saying that Rashford's goal should have been disallowed. Obviously, because there was an incident involving Lindelof and Origi, and a lot of people are saying that Lindelof did foul Origi. Obviously, Liverpool felt as though they have been robbed because obviously, VAR intervened on a couple of occasions. Mane's goal obviously, was disallowed. I think I don't think it had been given. Was it a foul or was it something to do with a handball? I'm not too sure. There was a few opportunities in the game, but there wasn't to the extent as I thought there would have been. But it was disappointing to concede. Was it in the 85th minute? Obviously, Adam Lallana equalised there for Liverpool, and it was actually a lack of concentration from Manchester United at the back. We should have defended that better. But I'm actually really happy with the point, and this is hopefully this can obviously hopefully build a platform for Manchester United, and hopefully now we can start going on winning runs and that. But yeah, I will definitely credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he did tactically get it right. There was some good individual performances, by the way. I thought Rashford played really well, and I thought the front three did well. Rashford, Daniel James, Andres Pereira. Because I thought they caused a lot of problems for Liverpool at the back. Which was very good to see. Rashford, it was good to see him scoring his first goal. Since the opening day of the season against Chelsea. Pereira, like I mentioned, had a really good game. Daniel James again had a great game. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career as Daniel James. I also thought Fred played really well, and like I mentioned on my previous videos, maybe we should give Fred a bit more time, because I think he's had the odd good couple of games for Manchester United. I know the club overpaid for him. We paid just under £50 million in last summer. But, he's only been at the football club, since last summer. So I think, Man United do need to give him more time. But I thought his mobility, was very good yesterday. So there was some good individual performances. And, maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I mentioned, does need more time at the football club. This result, doesn't change, my perception on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still don't think, he's the right man for Manchester United. But, obviously you got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, coming out after the game saying that, the referee was the man of the match. And he's obviously had his own digs at the Liverpool players, obviously because they were saying that, the Rashford goal, should have never happened. But I think overall, Solskjaer's happy with the performance from Manchester United, because, we did come into this game as massive underdogs. So I think, probably Solskjaer, will be still at the football club, by January. I think the football club are going to give him at least a couple more transfer windows, to see who else, of course, and we can recommend him to the football club. Now, obviously, we know that further more investment is needed in the squad. It was good during the summer, like I mentioned, that we did address some of the problematic areas. Obviously, we got that experienced centre half in. We also got that right back in. We spent around 140 £45 million in the summer on Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka and, you know, Daniel James, and they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. But, you know, I think we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer, to be quite honest with you. So I think, you know, we'll look to sign 1 or 2 players in January, then we'll look to do the vast majority of our players. Look to sign. We'll look to get you know, quite a lot of players in, you know, next summer. But for me, you know, Man United definitely need a midfielder. We're missing. I think we're missing creative impetus in that midfield. You know, we definitely need a striker. You know, we need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. You know, because we need someone up there that can assure us goals, and, you know, someone, you know, that can lead the lines, and someone that can be more effective in the box. And yeah, so, you know, they're the 2 priority areas, you know, where definitely, you know, Manchester United do need to strengthen up. And I think the result was also good yesterday, you know, taking into account, you know, that we had, you know, quite a few injuries and that. Obviously, you know, there was quite a few players that came back from injury. I was surprised David De Gea started in net, because I didn't think he'd have played yesterday. And Wan-Bissaka obviously, you know, came back after missing the 2 previous league games before the game yesterday. Obviously Martial, it was good to see him, you know, come off the bench. He's obviously now recovered from injury, which is a massive booster for Manchester United, because, you know, Anthony Martial, you know, I thought he enjoyed a fantastic start, you know, to this season, obviously, before he did sustain that thigh injury. But it's good to see him back in action. Obviously, we know that Paul Pogba and Luke Shaw are still both out with injury. Luke Shaw's obviously hasn't played since the 2-1 defeat to Palace. You know, Paul Pogba, I think's missed the last... I think he's missed 6 of the last 8 games for Manchester United with injury. But yeah, we've had a lot of injuries this season. So in that aspect, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. So like I mentioned earlier on in the video, you know, if Solskjaer can change a couple of things in that, you know, I think, you know, maybe it could, you know, work out. Because we know that he's been going with a 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season. And obviously, you know, we do know that has not been working out. But, you know, we are still enjoying my worst start to a Premier League season for 3 decades, you know, as you all know. Obviously, like I mentioned, our home form does need to improve. Also, our away form needs to improve, because, you know, we haven't won away from home since the PSG game last season. So I think it's now 11 away games that Solskjaer has had without a win. But yeah, I still believe he's not the right man for Manchester United, but I do believe the club will give him time, you know, to be quite honest with you, know, to see who else, you know, he can recommend to the football club. But Solskjaer's obviously aware of the expectations, you know, he has to exceed at Manchester United. And I did initially say at the start of this season that our expectations this season, you know, will be to finish in that top 4. So in that aspect, obviously, you know, we can get back into the Champions League, because obviously last season we failed to qualify for the Champions League, and I did say that was very, very probable that, you know, we didn't get, you know, our main priority targets, because obviously during the summer a lot of players had element of concerns about joining the football club, because if you're not in Champions League football, then obviously it's going to be harder to attract players to the elite level. But yeah, and, you know, I don't see us getting the top 4 this season. You know, I have already, you know, disregarded that, you know, even though there is a long way to go. I think maybe we could finish 6th, maybe 7th this season, but, you know, I don't think, you know, we are going to finish in that top 4. But like I mentioned, we've only failed to secure European football once since 1990, and I think, you know, that actually, you know, came back under the David Moyes era. But, you know, Liverpool, you know, will be more disappointed than Man United, because obviously, you know, Liverpool came into this game, you know, very, very confident. Obviously, you know, we was in absolutely really, really bad form. Obviously, you know, Liverpool had won all their games, you know, before going into the game yesterday. And I think if Liverpool, you know, had won the game yesterday, I think, you know, they would have matched Man City's Premier League record of 18 wins on the bounce, or was it 19 wins on the bounce? Well, it was one of them anyway. I still probably think Liverpool are, you know, going to win the league this season. You know, there's 6 points clear at the top now. That's Liverpool's expectations this season, you know, is to obviously, you know, win the Premier League, because obviously, you know, Liverpool have never won the Premier League. You know, they haven't won it all in all for 3 decades. But, you know, Liverpool probably, you know, will be happy that they got the late goal, but obviously they'll be disappointed, you know, that they currently didn't win the game. But to be quite honest with you, I thought Liverpool were really, really poor anyway. Yeah, and like I mentioned on my preview, and that their record at Old Trafford's really, really bad. They've only won twice there in the last decade. But it wasn't a great game of football. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, so like I mentioned, Solskjaer obviously came out before the game, and he'd taken a shot at Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, saying it won't take Manchester United another 30 years to win the Premier League title. But, we haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. Obviously, the last time won it, it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. So we haven't won it now for nearly 7 years. I don't think we'll win the league, at least for the next maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, because, our squad's not good enough at the moment. So we are aware that a massive rebuild is needed at Manchester United, but I think our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But I think our squad's definitely good enough for a top four finish. But I thought the performance did improve yesterday. But we have got games coming up thick and fast now. We go away to Partizan Belgrade soon. Obviously, we go away to Norwich as well. There were reports the other week saying if we do fail to beat Norwich, that could end Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Manchester United. Obviously, we've got Chelsea at the end of the month in the Carabao Cup. So, games are coming up, thick and fast. But it's good now that actually, the vast majority of our players, are back from injury. There's only a few players that are now out of injury. Pogba, Luke Shaw, Degard a lot. Has sustained quite a few injuries this season. He has sustained quite a few injuries this season. It wasn't too long ago, that he was out over a groin problem. Obviously, Eric Bay is out until the end of December or the new year. Phil Jones has been injured. Fosu Mensah, I think, is still injured. I think, Lingard is obviously now still injured and that. But like I did say anyway, recently, due to our inconsistency, I think the vast majority of the blame does stem from the board, basically. I think some of the blame does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in certain aspects, but, I think most of the blame does stem from the board, because, the board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, during the course of the summer. Obviously the board they've been a liability for several years, obviously, with their poor recruitment and, their poor selection of managers. So there's still certain Manchester United fans, saying that we should keep Solskjaer in and, we should get rid of our current board, and recommend a new board in. But I think the board did assure at the start of this season, regardless of what happens this season, Solskjaer's job, should be safe, because the board realised that didn't back him enough, during the course of the summer. Definitely some of the blame stems from Ed Woodward. Despite our disastrous start to the season, obviously Ed Woodward, still insists 100% he's backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He still believes he's the right man for Man United. A lot of the blame does stem from a lot of the players as well, because a lot of them have been underperforming. But some of the blame does stem from Solskjaer. He tactically got it right yesterday, but obviously, prior to the game yesterday, obviously his tactics have been wrong. And I just don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got that. I just don't think he has any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Manchester United. And like what I mean is, I just don't think his pedigree is good enough, because obviously, before Solskjaer came to Manchester United, obviously, he was at Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. Obviously, he had a really, really short tenure with Cardiff, and he only managed around 30 games for Cardiff, and obviously ended up getting them relegated. So obviously, did get the sack. A few Man United fans fear if he is to remain in the job this season, he could replicate the same thing at Manchester United. But I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. Man United won't get relegated. Like I mentioned, the club's too big. There's too much money and that into the football club, and we haven't been relegated since 1974. But for me, the board, definitely do need to assure structural changes at the football club, and as to this, I think there's still a lot of Man United fans that want Solskjaer out and that, and there's certain ones that are sticking by him. There's a few from Man United players that obviously believe we should still give him time. Rio Ferdinand came out not too long ago saying that Man United would be naive to sack Solskjaer. Obviously, you got Ryan Giggs saying out, Ryan Giggs came out and said, we should give him more time with the football club, and people believe, we need at least 5 to 6, maybe even 7, maybe maybe even 8 more signings, you know, if we had to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. And I did say, reflecting on the, you know, the size and the potential of this football club and the history of this football club, you know, we should be much more of a commanding position, you know, than we're in now. But yeah, maybe Solskjaer does need more time, you know, because, you know, he hasn't been at Manchester United that long. You know, obviously, you know, he's been here overall now for around 10 months. He's nearly been at the club a year now. And I do admit, you know, he's enjoyed the difficult, seven and a half months there with Manchester United, because obviously, you know, it has all gone, you know, since he has got the job permanently. But you know, but you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, first came in as Manchester United manager, you know, in December. He came in December following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho. And at first he came in as the interim manager. You know, he did really, really well in that 3-month period, did Solskjaer, because obviously, you know, the results were good, the performances were good. You know, he got the best out of these group of players, and he exceeded expectations, and he won 14 out of 19 in total, you know, whilst he was interim manager. And he won his first 8 or 9 games, and you know, he did really, really well. And obviously, you know, we know that we had to pay, obviously, you know, money to give Solskjaer the job permanently. Obviously, he's on a 3-year contract with the football club. So if he is to be here, if he is to see his contract out of Man United, you know, it'll be interesting, you know, to see, you know, what he can, you know, bring to the football club. But it has all gone wrong, you know, since he has got the job permanently. But maybe he does need more time at the football club. Like I did say, in this generation, you know, managers, you know, now don't get the time, you know, that they would currently like. But, you know, Solskjaer, you know, was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and you know, he has got that proven pedigree as a player. But you know, he just hasn't really, you know, got it as a manager. You know, I also credit Solskjaer because he has got a lot of trust with him and his young upcoming players. You know, obviously the vast majority of our young players have been given their chances this season. You know, so I do credit him in some aspects. I've got some element of concerns about him as well. But I don't think the board will stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, I think the only reason they're sticking with him at this present time is because, you know, he was a club legend, basically, and in that aspect, you know, the board are softening their stance on him. But Solskjaer recently came out himself and said, you know, he insists he's the right man for Man United, and he's never felt like the job, you know, is too big for him. And he actually recently said, did Solskjaer, you know, if nothing is to improve at the football club, I updated you about this the other day, he would consider resigning as Manchester United manager, which would obviously, you know, prevent the football club from sacking him. It actually got revealed the other week how much it would cost Manchester United to sack Solskjaer, and I think reportedly would cost the club around £7 million in compensation. Well, that's what it said, which is around half, you know, than what we paid to get rid of Jose Mourinho, because we paid around 19 or 20 million pounds to get rid of Mourinho. But, you know, I know we've had a bad start to the season, but I still think, you know, these certain players that have done really, really well, you know, the 3 players that we recommended in have done well. You know, Rashford did well yesterday against Liverpool. He's had 2 good games for us this season. I know Rashford, of course, was injured, you know, not too long ago with a groin problem. You know, but Fred, he's had a bad couple of games, but he's had the odd good game here and there. You know, like I mentioned, McTominay again was playing yesterday. I think McTominay's had a really, really good starter to this season. And, you know, like I mentioned, I've got the same thoughts about McTominay I've got as Fred. You know, I don't know if they're both the long-term solutions for Man United. They're not world-class midfielders. But, you know, if they are given more time, I think they could become a success at the football club. And, you know, McTominay, these question marks around him, can he keep the consistency up? And, you know, I hope he can keep the consistency up. You know, I really, really hope he can. But, you know, I think any of our midfield options anywhere are much better options than Matic. Obviously, you know, Matic didn't play in the game yesterday. And I think he's one of the problematic players in the football club, you know, I really, really do. And like I mentioned, you know, I know Solskjaer, you know, did get rid of a lot of the players. A lot of players have left, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. But I think despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival, I still believe, you know, there is more problematic players at the football club, you know, that we do need to consider moving on in January and next summer without a shadow of a doubt. So that's something else, you know, we need to think about doing. But, you know, Solskjaer is already, making plans for the January transfer window. He's making plans for the January window. Obviously, I think he's keen on continuing the policy of recruiting young British players, like he did do, of course, earlier on in the summer. So we have assured, that, Solskjaer will be giving money to spend in January. Obviously, at the beginning of the summer, I think the club, well, there was reports saying that he'd been given around between 200 to 250 million pounds to spend, because Solskjaer said at the beginning of the summer that, he wanted to bring 5 new additions to the squad. We ended up, getting 3 players in. But yeah, it was better for Man United, that we did get that draw against Liverpool, but it actually, was a shame, that we didn't win the game in the end. I think, the football club have done quite a few mistakes, to be quite honest with you. I think it was a mistake for Man United, giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. We should have never give him the job. I think, I do feel sorry for him in a way, because I think the football club have put him in a very, very difficult position. But I still don't think he'll last as Manchester United manager, even if he does get the time that he would like. Obviously, we do know that Solskjaer also came out the other week and defended the club's current structure. Obviously, he insists that Manchester United don't need a director of football. Basically, he's happy with the club's current structure, because don't forget, for the majority of the summer, we were in search for a new director of football. During the summer, there was quite a few former Manchester United players, linked to that director's role. Obviously there was recent speculation about Edwin van der Sar. Obviously, not too long ago, and Edwin van der Sar did indicate out at some point in his future, he would be interested in making a return back to the football club. And I did say, if we were to get a director of football, it would be beneficial to recommend someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who obviously has got that experience, and someone who would be reliable to obviously our transfer business. And Edwin van der Sar for me, would be the right candidate. But Solskjaer's happy, with the club's current structure, according to him. Obviously, there has been a list of managers on our agenda, who could replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the football club. Obviously, I do believe Max Allegri is the club's primary candidate. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about Max Allegri going on for a number of weeks now. And he did reportedly say that Max Allegri is interested in coming to Manchester United. Reportedly, he's demanded a few things he wants to do. If he does get appointed in as our new boss, obviously if he is to come in, Max Allegri, which I don't think now, he will be our 5th permanent boss since the Alex Ferguson era. But he demanded that he wanted to bring Emre Can, Mario Mandzukic with him. Obviously, according to recent reports anyway, Mario Mandzukic is our top priority for January. Reportedly, it come out not too long ago, it said that Man United have reached a verbal agreement with Juventus for Mario Mandzukic. Obviously, he's a cheap solution. Obviously, he'll only cost the club around 9 or 10 million pounds. Reportedly, Man United is set to hand Mario Mandzukic an 18-month contract. We're prepared to pay him around 4.4 million a year, which equates to around £85,000 a week. And I think he can show the likes of James, Rashford and Martial, how to be more effective in the box. Obviously, his pedigree is very, very good. My only element of concern I've got about Mandzukic, obviously, that he's 33 years of age now. He's basically, only got a couple of years left in his footballing career, I would say. But he's, never played in the Premier League. Obviously, he's been at Juventus a number of years. I think he's been there about 5 years or something like that. He's produced 44 goals in 162 games. But don't forget, we inquired about getting Mario Mandzukic towards the back end of the summer transfer window. But it's a cheap solution, like I mentioned. Emre Can's obviously a former Liverpool player. It also said that Max Allegri would like to recommend Patrice Evra as one of our coaching staff. if he, also, wants to be appointed as new Man United boss. But he says not too long ago that Max Allegri, during the international break, and that was in discussions with Manchester United, about, the salary he would earn, and he did reportedly say he would earn around £6.5 million pounds a year. But, so a lot of Man United fans believe that, Max Allegri, would be the right candidate for the football club. Max Allegri, hasn't been managerless for long anywhere. He's only been managerless since the end of last season, when he did resign as Juventus manager. He did resign as Juventus manager at the end of last season. Did Max Allegri? He did. And obviously the vast majority of his serve where he won, obviously came at Juventus, because he served 5 years with Juventus. He also led Juventus to 2 Champions League finals, though, I forget. But recently, I think it said that he's been learning English for quite some time, in preparation for his potential move. But actually, Max Allegri's been managing for around 16 years, because he began his managerial career in 2003. But, there's obviously been other managers mentioned in him. Obviously, there was talks about Laurent Blanc not too long ago. Could the club possibly reignite our interest in Pochettino, because, Mauricio Pochettino now is under serious pressure at Tottenham, because Tottenham have endured a disastrous start to the season. Not to the extent of our disastrous start, but they have still had a really, really bad start to this season. And don't forget, before we recommended Solskjaer in, we was in for Mauricio Pochettino for a very, very long time. He was actually the club's top priority. Obviously, our preference was Solskjaer, because obviously Solskjaer knows the club inside out, and he was a cheaper solution than that at the time. But Pochettino, if we was to actually reignite our interest in him, we'd probably have to pay around 32 million in compensation to get him in. Even though he hasn't got a release clause in his current contract. Obviously, Pochettino did sign a 5-year contract with Tottenham last summer, with around 8.5 million a year. So he's under contract with them until 2023. Obviously, Pochettino, I think he's had a good overall. I think for the majority of his tenure, I think he's done really, really well. Obviously hasn't done too well this season, but now this is his 6th season with Tottenham. He has been at Tottenham around 5 years, as Mauricio Pochettino. Obviously, he's mainly done well, like I mentioned. He hasn't won out yet in terms of silverware, so that's my element of concern about him, but he's good at developing a lot of young players. Obviously, before I was at Southampton, he had a really, really good short tenure with, Southampton. And, obviously, before I was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol, where he began his managerial career. So he's been managing now for around 10 years as Mauricio Pochettino. But yeah. But I think we'll probably stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anywhere for the time being. But yeah, like I mentioned, a lot of players have left Man United since Solskjaer's arrival. Like I mentioned, Ander Herrera left. I think that was one mistake for Manchester United. We shouldn't have let Ander Herrera, leave the football club, because you could arguably say that Ander Herrera, was one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. I think he had about 3.5, 4 good years out of the 5 years he was here. And it infuriated me more, that we did let him go on a free transfer, to be quite honest with you. But it's very imperative that we can recruit a replacement for him in January. I think probably we do need 2 central midfielders, because, like I mentioned, the depth in the squad, is not good enough at the moment. Some people saying, us letting Romelu Lukaku go, was a mistake. And, obviously he had to go in the end, because, he did initially lose his place in the team, because obviously Solskjaer did reveal that, his preference was Marcus Rashford over Romelu Lukaku. But, Lukaku endured 2 seasons at Manchester United. And to be fair, I thought, he endured, one good season with the club, because I thought he was really, really good in his first season. Didn't really replicate that in his second season, Lukaku. But yeah, he did leave, and I'm happy, with the money we did generate from his departure. We got 70-odd million quid for him. So basically, we did recoup the money that we did pay for him from Inter Milan. Pay for him from Everton, sorry. But his pedigree in the Premier League was really, really good anyway. A lot of people were speaking about that, He never scored against the big teams, because he was a big game bottler, and obviously, his first touch did concern a lot of people. But I think prior to that, he could score goals, could Lukaku, and I think he's doing really, really well now for Inter Milan. You know, and I think also Sanchez is doing really, really well for Inter Milan. Don't forget, you know, Sanchez went out on loan with Inter Milan. Obviously, you know, we had to get rid of him anyway because Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months with Manchester United, and that, you know, he didn't perform to the standards as we all expected. He sustained quite a few injuries as a Man United player, but despite the fact that Sanchez is on loan, you know, the football club are still paying the vast majority of his wages. I still believe we're paying him around 300 grand a week. But yeah, obviously, you know, Darmian left. You know, he went for just under over a million. Sorry, Chris Smalling left. You know, Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years at Man United. So Italy's been a very popular destination for the vast majority of our players this summer. Like I mentioned, you know, regardless of who our manager is, you know, no one is gonna ever no one's going to ever, you know, invoke Ferguson's legacy at the club, and definitely Solskjaer won't invoke Ferguson's legacy at the football club, you know, to save him at Manchester United, you know, because like I mentioned, back under the Alex Ferguson era, you know, Ferguson obviously, you know, developed a lot of young players, he controlled the transfer policies, he sorted a lot of the contracts out, you know, and the fear factor was there under Alex Ferguson, and the winning mentality was there under Alex Ferguson, but obviously, you know, we had 26 years of success under him. But, you know, we're no longer now under the Alex Ferguson era, as I do keep mentioning. You know, we haven't been under the Alex Ferguson era for just over 6 years now. This is now a different era with different players and different groups that we are building, like Solskjaer spoke about not too long ago. But, you know, there's actually still a couple of players here from the Alex Ferguson era. But don't forget, you know, Ferguson, you know, didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. So you've also, you know, got to take that into account. Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years. You know, and actually at that point, you know, he was on the verge of getting the sack, but he didn't. And then look what he went and accomplished. But we do know that, you know, a lot of money has been spent at Manchester United over the years. In the last 6 or 7 years, I think in all the managerial eras, I think around £800 million has been spent on players. That's just under £1 billion. And that's not taking into account, you know, what was spent under Alex Ferguson. And that obviously it's worth £1 billion, you know, if you want to take into account, you know, what was spent under him. But like I mentioned, always spending big on players and, you know, getting them Galactico players doesn't always guarantee success, as you are all aware. So this is why I said at the start of the summer, maybe we should, you know, go with a different policy, or we should, you know, try to be, you know, sensible with our recruitment rather than, you know, overpay for players. But like I mentioned, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era, and I did say, you know, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, even though, you know, we've already seen, you know, 3 managers go, you know, since the Ferguson era. But I'm hopeful that Solskjaer's tenure, you know, can become successful at Manchester United. So it's good that we showed some tactical flexibility yesterday. That was the main thing, you know. I was really, really impressive. So hopefully, you know, Solskjaer can keep this up with this, you know, with these different, you know, elements and that. And if he can, you know, maybe things can, you know, turn around at Manchester United. Well, I'm hopeful of it, you know, at least. So obviously against Partizan Belgrade, which is coming up on Thursday in the Europa League. Obviously it is our 3rd game in the Europa League. Obviously so far in the Europa League we've won one and we've drawn one. He's gonna make a lot of alterations. I think he's gonna go a lot, more with the young players in this game. He'll go with quite a lot of the experienced players as well. Maybe Mason Greenwood probably, you know, will start in the game, you know, against Partizan Belgrade. Like I mentioned, Mason Greenwood has not yet started a game from the start in the Premier League. So he needs to get given a start from the start in the Premier League, because I think in the games, you know, he's played in this season, you know, he's actually now been very, very impressive as Mason Greenwood. He has been impressive, you know, to be quite honest with you. And obviously it's impossible to leave him out of the team, you know, if he does keep the consistency up and that. But yeah, and I did say, you know, not all the young upcoming players, you know, will become a success at Manchester United. You know, like it recently said, we are considering, loaning some of our young upcoming players out in January. There was talks about us loaning Chong, Gomez and, Jimmy Garner out in January. Maybe because we're doing that because, we think they're not good enough to represent Man United, or, maybe they need to be loaned out, to gain more experience, because maybe they're not assured, a lot of chances there with Manchester United at this present time anywhere. But two things I can assure, that Mason Greenwood and Tuanzebe also will become a success at the club. That Brandon Williams has looked quite impressive, lately. Obviously, he's a left back. But, we will see what happens. But yeah, I don't know how long Paul Pogba's out for. When I read reports earlier on this week, it did say, he could be out until, the end of this month, or, the beginning of November, with this ongoing foot injury that's been surrounding the player now for a matter of weeks. I think Paul Pogba will still leave the football club. I think he'll leave in January or next summer, because I do believe his preference is a move to Real Madrid. Recent reports indicated out that Paul Pogba, you've got him, he's demanding a substantial 600 grand a week from the football club. Obviously that equates to around 30 million a year. He wants around 600 grand a week reportedly, so if there's any chances of him, of course, extending his contract at Man United, and I do believe Man United not too long ago had a few negotiations with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, over the possibility of renewing his contract at Manchester United. But I still believe he will move on, will Paul Pogba. But even though Paul Pogba, has mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Man United, in comparison to his time at Juventus, I still believe he's a very imperative player. We have seen, glimpses, of how good, Paul Pogba, can be. He's still 26, and, he has still got a lot of development in him. But definitely I do expect, more players to leave Man United. But if we do finish out of the top 6 this season, Solskjaer, I think, admitted that, he figures that, he could end up, being sacked from the football club. Because, we finished 6th last season, 6th, is obviously, really, really bad. We only managed 53 goals in the Premier League, last season. I think the lowest we finished was back under the David Moyes era. I think we finished 7th back under the David Moyes era. But things still need to improve at Man United, like I do keep mentioning, the performances still need to improve, because I didn't think it was a great game yesterday. I thought there were some good individual performances yesterday, like I mentioned earlier on in the video. We need to start being more clinical in front of goal. We just don't seem to have that clinical element at the moment. We've scored 1 goal in every game we've scored in this season. Prior to the Chelsea game, we've only scored 10 goals this season in 9 Premier League games. So that's something else that does need to improve. But overall, really, really happy with the draw. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.